Just like that. Well, it's those people. They let the kids run wild. Maybe it serves them right.
All right, let's all take our seats. Now you can handle this any way you want. If you want to discuss it first and then vote, that's one way, or we can vote right now and see how we stand.
Let's vote now. Maybe we can all go home.
Yeah.
Anybody who doesn't want to vote? Okay. Those voting guilty, raise your hands. Good! That's 7 for guilty. Okay, not guilty. 1. Okay.
Somebody's in left field. Do you think he's not guilty?
I don't know.
I never saw a guiltier man in my life. You sat right there in court and heard the same thing I did. The man's a dangerous killer.
He's 17.
That's old enough. He knifed his own father. They proved it a dozen different ways.
Well, do you believe his story?
I don't know whether I believe it or not. Maybe I don't.
So what'd you vote not guilty for?
Well, it's not easy for me to send a boy off to prison without at least talking about it first.
Who says it's easy for me?
No one.
What, just because I vote fast? I think the guy's guilty. You couldn't change my mind no matter what.
I don't want to change your mind. I just want to talk for a while. Look, this boy has been kicked around all his life. You know, living in the slums. His mother dead since age 9. I think we owe him a few words.
We don't owe him a thing. He got a fair trial, didn't he? You know what that trial cost.
I've lived among them all my life. You can't believe a word they say.
What a terrible thing for someone to say. Since when is dishonesty a group character sin?
All right, we don't need to start.
What you just said is very dangerous.
I don't see any need for arguing.
That's a good point. We have a job to do.
It seems to me that it's up to us to convince this man we're right.
Suppose we go around the table. Who wants to start?
Well, I just think he's guilty. I mean, nobody proved otherwise.
Nobody has to prove otherwise. The burden of proof is on the prosecution. The defendant doesn't have to open up his mouth.
What I mean, well, I think he's guilty.
Let's get to the facts. Let's take the old man who lived on the 2nd floor under the room where the murder took place. At 12:10, he heard loud noises in the upstairs apartment. He said it sounded like a fight. Then he heard the kid say to his father, "I'm going to kill you." A second later, a body falling. He ran to the door of his apartment and looked out. He saw the kid running down the stairs and out of the house. Then he called the police. They found the father with a knife in his chest.
He fixed the time of death around midnight.
The boy's whole story is weak. He said he went to the movies, but he can't remember what movie he saw!
That's right.
What about the woman across the street? If she doesn't prove he's guilty, then nothing does!
That's right. She saw the killing.
Wait a minute, here's a woman who's lying in bed. It's hot, she can't sleep. She looks out the window, she sees the kid stick the knife into his father. The window is right across the street, and she saw the murder committed.
Yeah, through the windows of a passing train.
And they proved in court you can see through the windows of a passing L train at night and see what's happening on the other side.
Let me ask you something. How come you believe her? She's one of them too, isn't she?
You're a smartass, aren't you?
Let's calm down. It's your turn.
I'll pass it.
All right, how about you?
I think we're wasting our time. Look at the kid's record. At 13, he was in reform school. He stole a car. He's been picked up for knife fighting. This is some kid.
Ever since he was 5 years old, his father beat him up all the time.
So would I, a kid like that.
You're right. It's the kids. They don't listen.
We're missing the point here. The point is, let's say this boy is a product of a broken home in the slums. We can't help that. We're not here to explain why slums make criminals.
You said it.
I lived in a slum all my life. I used to play in the backyard filled with garbage. Maybe you can still smell it on me.
There's nothing personal.
There is something personal.
Come on, no, we didn't mean you.
We're wasting time. It's your turn.
I had a funny feeling about this trial. Somehow I felt like the defense attorney never really asked the right questions. I mean, he was appointed by the court to defend this boy, but it was like he hardly seemed interested. Too many questions were left unasked.
What about the ones that were asked? For instance, let's talk about that cute little switch knife. You know, that one that Fine Upright Kid bought?
All right, let's get it over here and look at it.
Why do we have to look at it again?
This knife is a pretty strong piece of evidence, don't you agree?
I do.
The boy admits going out of his house after being hit by his father. He went to the neighborhood store and he bought a switchblade. The storekeeper said it was one of a kind. Why did he get it? As a present for his friend, he said, am I right?
Right.
The boy said the knife must have fallen into his pocket. He says he never saw it again. You know what really happened? He stabbed a few hours later, stabbed his father, and you remember. What about the fingerprints? Well, everyone in connection to this case identified this knife. Are you trying to say somebody picked it up and stabbed his father with it?
I'm saying that it is possible that the boy lost the knife, but someone else could have stabbed his father with the knife just like it.
What are you trying to do? Be quiet.
Where did you get it?
I got it last night in a little shop around the corner from the boy's house.
You've proved nothing. Maybe there are 10 knives like that. So what? The boy lied.
He may have lied. Do you think he lied?
Sure, he lied.
Do you?
He lied.
Do you think he lied?
I don't know.
Wait a second. What are you, this guy's lawyer? There are 7 of us who think he's guilty. If you hang this jury, he'll be tried again and found guilty.
You're probably right.
So what are you going to do about it? We could be here all night.
It's only one night. A man might die. I've got an idea. Let's all vote by secret ballots. If you're still the only holdout, will you change your vote to guilty?
Yes.
Is everyone agreed? Guilty, 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 not guilty.
Who was it?
It was a secret ballot.
What do you mean? There are no secrets in here. I know who it was. You come in here and vote guilty, and the slick preacher starts to tear her heart out with stories about a poor kid, so you changed your vote.
Wait a minute.
Please! I'd like to say something here. I always thought a man could have unpopular opinions in this country. This is the reason I came here. I wanted to have the right to disagree. In my own country, I'm afraid to say, but
Oh, what are we have to listen to now? The entire history of your country?
Yeah, let's stick to the subject. Why did you change your
he didn't change his vote, I did. This juror chose to stand alone against us. It takes a lot of courage to stand alone. Even if you believe in something strongly. He left the verdict up to us. He gambled for support and I gave it to him. I'd like to hear more.
Look, I was a little excited. I didn't mean anything personal.
If the kid didn't kill him, who did?
We're here to decide whether the boy on trial is guilty. We're not concerned with anyone else.
Guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That's an important thing to remember.
Suppose you explain what your reasonable doubts are.
This isn't easy. So far, it's just a feeling I have.
Feeling? What about the facts?
Right. The old man heard the kid yell, "I'm going to kill you." A second later, he heard the father's body falling. And he saw the boy running from the house 15 seconds after that.
And let's not forget about the woman across the street. She saw the boy stab his father. Now, if that's not enough,
It's not enough for me.
the woman saw the killing through the windows of a moving elevated train. The train had 5 cars, and she saw it through the windows of the last 2.
Take a look. How long does it take an elevated train going at top speed to pass a given point?
About 10 or 12 seconds, maybe.
I say that's a fair guess. Anyone else?
About 10 seconds.
About 10 seconds.
An L train passes a given point in 10 seconds. When your window is open and the train goes by, the noise is awful. You can't hear yourself think.
So what?
Right. The old man heard the boy say, "I'm going to kill you." 1 second later, you heard the body fall. 1 second. The woman across the street looked through the window of the last 2 cars of the L train and saw the body fall. The last 2 cars.
What are you getting at?
An L train takes 10 seconds to pass a given point, or 2 seconds per car. That L had been going by the old man's window for at least 6 seconds before the body fell. According to the woman, the old man would have to hear the boy say, "I'm going to kill you," while the front of the yell was roaring past his nose. But he could not have heard it.
I don't think he could have heard it.
Maybe he did hear it. I mean, with the yell noise.
Why would the old man lie? What's he got to gain?
Attention, maybe? I looked at him for a long time. He was a very old man with a torn jacket. He carried 2 canes. This is a quiet, unimportant man. He has been nothing all his life. Nobody knows him after 75 years. Now that's a sad thing. A man like that needs attention. He wants to be quoted just once.
So you're saying he lied just so he could be important?
He didn't really lie. But maybe he's making himself believe he heard those words and saw the boy running away.
How could you make up a thing like that?
I speak from experience.
Is there anything else?
Yes. I think that we proved that the old man couldn't hear the boy shout. But suppose he did hear it. How many times has each of you said, "I'll kill you"? We say it every day. The boy is too bright to shout this so the whole neighborhood can hear it.
Right? He's a dumb slob. He don't even speak good English.
He doesn't even speak good English.
I'd like to change my vote to not guilty.
The vote is 5-3 in favor of guilty.
What are you basing it on? You pull stories out of thin air. Now we're supposed to believe that the old man didn't get up out of bed and run to the door and see the kid 15 seconds after the killing, that he just that thought to be important?
Did the old man say he ran to the door?
Ran, walked. What's the difference?
I don't remember what he said. But I don't see how he could run.
Where was the bedroom again? Ms. Foreman, I'd like to see the drawing of the apartment again.
He's an old man. Half the time he was confused.
All right. This is the apartment where the killing took place. The old man's apartment was right under it and exactly the same. Here's the front door to the apartment and here are the stairs. Now, the old man was in his bed in his room. He said he got up and went down the hall to the front door. He opened it in time to see the boy running down the stairs. His bed is at the window. It is 12 feet from his bed to the bedroom door. The hall is 43 feet long. He had to get out of bed, get his canes, walk 12 feet, open the bedroom door, walk 43 feet and open the front door, all in 15 seconds. Do you think that's possible?
He can only walk very slowly. They had to help him to the witness chair.
For an old man who uses canes, that's a long walk.
I think the old man was trying to get to the front door and guessed it was the boy.
Guessed?
Oh!
You come in here with your bleeding heart about some slum kid and injustice. Well, I'm getting real sick of you. This kid is guilty. He's got to burn.
Maybe you'd like to pull the
This
switch.
kid, you bet I'd like to pull a switch.
You're sick.
Shut up.
You want to see this boy die because you personally want him to, not because of the
I
facts.
said shut up.
You don't have to behave like children. Hey!
We are here to decide the innocence or guilt of a man we do not know. We have nothing to gain or lose. This is one reason we are strong. We should not make it a personal thing.
I think we should try another vote.
Let's call out our votes. I want to know who stands where.
All right? I vote guilty.
Guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Guilty.
Real crimes being committed right in this room.
Vote is 4-4.
I'm ready to declare hung jury.
Me too. Let the kid try his chances with another jury.
You still don't think there's room for reasonable doubt?
No, I don't.
Maybe you don't understand the term reasonable doubt.
You come running here for your life from your country, and now you want to tell us how to run this country?
Wait a second. Nobody asked where you came from.
I was born right here.
And nobody asked where your father came from. Maybe it wouldn't hurt to take a few tips from people who come running here. Maybe they learn something we don't know.
Let's stop arguing. Who's got something constructive to say?
Well, something's been bothering me a little. This whole business about the stab wound and how it was made, the Darwin angle of it, you know?
They went over that in court.
Yeah, but I don't go along with it. The boy's height is 5 feet 8 inches tall. His father is 6'2". That's a difference of 6 inches. Anybody who's ever used a knife would never stab down on the chest of someone who's taller than they are. Wait a second. Switchblades came from the neighborhood I grew up in. You would never stab downward. You use it underhand.
Then he wouldn't have made the kind of wound that killed his father.
No. Not if he's ever had any experience with switchblades.
I don't believe it.
Neither do I.
What do you think?
Well, I don't know.
I'm sick of this whole thing. Let's break it up and go home. I'm changing my vote to not guilty.
You're what?
I've had enough.
That's no answer.
I agree. What kind of person are you? You voted guilty because some theater ticket's burning a hole in your pocket, and now you change your vote for the same reason? I don't think you have the right to play with a man's life like this. This is an ugly thing to do. If you want to vote not guilty, then do it because you believe the man is not guilty. But if you believe he's guilty, then vote the same way.
Listen.
Is it guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Why?
Because I don't think he's guilty.
I want another vote.
I guess the quickest way is a show of hands. Anybody object? All those voting not guilty, raise your hands. 6. All those voting guilty, 2. The vote is 6-2 in favor of not guilty.
I still believe the boy's guilty of murder. The most important piece of evidence is the woman right across the street. She said she saw the murder committed.
Let's go over her statement.
She said she went to bed at around 11. Her bed is right next to the open window. She could see right through the window. Finally, at 12:10, she looked out, and that's when she saw the murder committed.
That's the whole case.
Pardon me. Can you see the clock without your glasses?
Not clearly why.
Look, this may be dumb, but what do you do when you wake up in the night and you want to know what time is it?
I put on my glasses and look at the clock.
You don't wear them to bed?
No one wears glasses to bed.
The woman who said she saw the murder wears glasses. She wouldn't wear her glasses to bed, would she?
She did. I remember this very clearly. They looked quite strong.
That's right. She never took them off. She did wear glasses. Funny, I never thought of that. She didn't wear them to bed, that's for sure. She said she tossed and turned for over an hour. The murder was taking place after she looked out. A second later, the lights went out. She couldn't have had time to put on her glasses. Maybe she thought she saw the murder being committed, but I say she only saw a blur.
How do you know what she saw?
Does anyone think this is still not a reasonable doubt?
I think he's guilty.
Does anyone else?
No,
You're alone.
I don't care, I have a right.
You have a right.
I think the kid is guilty. What else do you
Your
want?
arguments.
I gave you my
We're
arguments.
not convinced. We're waiting here them again. We have time.
What's the matter with you? You can't turn now. A guilty man's going to be walking the streets. A murderer. He's got to die. Stay with me.
I'm sorry, there's reasonable doubt. We're waiting.
You're not going to scare me. It's going to be a hung jury. That's it.
You're
It takes a lot of courage to stand alone.